Welcome to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back with you for another quick episode. I'm keeping it quick today because I got a couple of things going on. My mental is a little bit turned around, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit scatterbrained this week. So usually you say something like that for the day. I'm scatterbrained today. I'm a little scatterbrained this week. But everything's okay. Nothing serious going on in any way on my end. I just wanted to touch upon the trailer that came with the second to last episode of Agatha All Along. It was a Disney Plus specific trailer. It had a few previews, and the centerpiece of it was Deadpool and Wolverine coming soon to Disney Plus. So I want to break down those moments. More of the moments that aren't Deadpool and Wolverine, but I mean, we can maybe reflect on that for a few minutes, And how have you been liking these episodes? I've been trying to give a variety of length, not to put a 90-minute episode on your lap every 2 days. I kind of am liking the 15-minute to 30-minute formula, although I feel like always I didn't say enough, and you never can say enough, but what I can say is I said a lot of what I was thinking and wanted to get off my chest. I think my worst recent episode in recent episodes was the WandaVision revisit. I think it would have been a total letdown to a fan of WandaVision to go to my episode talking about it for 20 minutes, and half of the episode I'm not talking about WandaVision. So we learn as we go here at Marvel Maniac. Eric, will learn as I go. I do listen to my episodes back when I can. Sometimes I just posted the me and TJ episode and I listened to it full through, and I didn't catch a couple of weird edits I meant to make because we recorded it on. It doesn't matter. I left a couple of vulnerable parts in there, but at the end of the day, it's just me and TJ having honest conversations with each other, so it's not bad. It's just more honest, and when I can be honest, with the title Mr. Honest, self-granted, I try to act upon that. It's also my superhero name, okay? And I'm waiting for those powers to come. I think it's going to be a late life thing. I think they're going to be extraordinary powers, and I also am lying to myself. But if I get rich enough, somehow I could probably get an Iron Man suit from Elon Musk. That's my main goal. An Iron Man suit. That's the thing. That's the way I become a superhero. I got to get a little fit, but the suit, it doesn't do all the work, but it gives you that extra bump. I don't want to be in the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit, although that would be cool. But I want to be in a regular Iron Man suit, Okay, so something to me that I have as kind of a benchmark over the last 2 years of Marvel, as the Kang situation was up in shuffle. It came to me, and it was actually said by people at Marvel, they're only going to do 2 projects a year on each platform, or 3. I forget what they said about the movies. They said 2 shows a year on Disney Plus instead of 9. Okay, they changed their minds on that, or the fact that a lot of this is animated, and they are kind of branched off in their own little corners. Even What If? The multiverse is infinitely expanding, so there's so much universe that instead of a down the road universe, this What If could be universe 1,302,000. You never know, So we don't really get to see our characters affected by that. But I love the follow-up in Multiverse of Madness, kind of letting us know there are more variants of Captain Carter. And how often did that happen? And is it more of a rare event to become Captain Carter or to become Steve Rogers? Or maybe there's less Steve Rogers. Maybe there's only a handful. I don't know. I think there's a lot of them. The TVA deals with it all. And that's kind of a way, in general, that I think they've used already. And if you listen to the dialogue at the end of Loki season 2, they give you a little bit of closure on the Kang situation. And the fact that we haven't seen him as too big of a threat. The audience painted the picture at the end of Ant-Man. He wasn't cool or badass enough. And it comes to light. They might just be saying this for publicity, okay? But it's recently come to light that they were like Tom Holland's like, oh, I was waiting so long not to talk about this, about Robert Downey Jr. being Dr. Doom. The story that's being told is that it's been a plan for a while. So they were going to replace Kang before, like they're saying they were going to replace or bring Doom in to topple Kang either way. I have no idea if they're telling the truth. I like to believe them, to be honest, but I think they want to bring the magic back to the MCU, and if they have to sacrifice and tell it like a white lie or two to make us feel more invested in the overall story and bring us back in and hold our attention and trust them with each release, they made a backup plan and they acted on it. And maybe even before it got bad for majors. So if that's what they want to say, go for it, Marvel. That's putting more on your plate. That's asking more of you to do way better and to really take a hold of every project going from here, making it Agatha all along quality. We want the quality. We want stories that will show up down the road in movies. We as the audience of Disney Plus, Marvel, we've watched so much and it's got to lead into the movies. You've tasked us with it in a sense. We need, there's some shows like they're trying to remarket it now, like with the beginning of Agatha, they're not giving every episode the big movie thing, like the big movie opening. It's just like a dun 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 dun. So they're reframing some of the shows. So I think they're honestly, what they do is they'll leave a door open, literally in this one. They will leave a door open like in Agatha, and if it's successful, they got something to go off of. If not, they can write it in a off-screen joke in one of the movies or series. Not that I love that, but if something big like that doesn't happen, I think the fans will complain enough. And Marvel fans don't hate on Marvel. They complain to Marvel because we already have a process with Marvel. Like if we don't like something, they're going to shift. Like they shifted when they heard... I'm wondering if maybe Dr. Doom came along after Ant-Man. There was like a month or two between the problems with majors and Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man did not go over well, and that might have been when Robert Downey Jr. was introduced as Dr. Doom. I like having these types of episodes sometimes just to like rant a little on everything in the MCU. I just saw Agatha all along got a higher Rotten Tomatoes rating than Loki season 2, both high up there. I don't know the exact numbers. Go check them out. I mean, that's just amazing. I love that for Marvel. Maybe they can only have that be an off-screen. I mean, Disney Plus storyline. All I know is this: Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stands and fans deserve some sort of nod to the show in some upcoming movie or the Secret Wars, because I'm being honest, they really did make it seem like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was supposed to be a part of the MCU. So this stuff you believed was happening alongside of the events of the MCU, and this will have a payoff in movie. Never promised, kind of expected. They never did that. They wrote it off as a different universe, I believe. I've been in a pretty happy mood, so I've been singing and playing my guitar. On top of that, I just did a podcast with TJ yesterday. Finding my voice getting really raspy because I'm talking too much. And it's not too much, just I'm talking a lot, and a lot more than I'm used to, But I want to break down the trailer and just go over some of the projects they talk about. I like how they opened the trailer with Deadpool looking at the screens at the TVA, and it's showing Disney Plus. And they use Deadpool as the momentum. Because I'm excited to watch that again when I pause back on. But I will not review it again until after Infinity War. After episode 100, we have like kind of this open range where we could take the show wherever we want. But I plan to do a lot of really fun things with the show. Getting to episode 100 is a big milestone. It's going to be me having covered all of the Infinity Saga. There's not individual episodes for the first two Guardians of the Galaxy. They're in my roundup of all three movies, but I consider those to count because I talk a lot about the original Ant-Man and I might have done that for one or two more series. But aside from that, I'm going to be able to have talked about the whole Infinity Saga on mic in this podcast. So that's a cap for episode 100. Another thing for episode 100 is I've had to persevere a lot through a lot of mental struggles. I don't like talking about it, but I think it's really actually important for me to be honest about it, because anyone in the world, any one of you could be going through something mentally, and you might think lower of yourself for it, or you might just think bad about yourself. You might just feel bad that you're labeled this or that. And if you are feeling that way, know that you are your own hero. You write your book. Just because you're being identified as bipolar disorder or whatever it is, well, I'm not going to get into things. Whatever it is, you could still be yourself. And I'm living proof of that. I didn't think I'd come back and get my podcast back and running. And I felt very depressed, like watching things and seeing some things pass me by. And it's such a low point that I'm like, I'm never going to be able to catch up. And I'm catching up. And that's exciting for me. It's exciting for the show. That's why I've been talking about episode 100 since episode 80, because I really want to hit a big milestone like no other. And I want to project us into the future of Marvel alongside of it. And yeah, I am plotting, however, like I'm like getting things ready. Like I'm trying to figure out how I can deliver Daredevil after shows to you to get them all out in time before the series Daredevil Born Again. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might have to do full season after shows. I might have to bundle up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might not even do them and talk about the show and reference the original show. There's a lot of ways to go about it. Either way, it's less stressful and more exciting for me. I'm excited for Daredevil Born Again because I'm a huge fan of Daredevil. They're bringing back the whole cast, including Punisher. So there's a little bit of homework, in my opinion. I want to watch and catch up on everything. I'm very sure that Daredevil's going to go over well. If it doesn't, I'll be surprised, but we can't put all our hopes into one thing. There's going to be really great stuff coming from Marvel over the next few years. In the trailer, we get this coming to Disney Plus, and it's not just animated shows. There's they're talking about Daredevil Born Again. And in this trailer, you see him and Wilson Fisk sitting at a table together having what seems to be a friendly conversation. I don't know what the context is, but it really interests me. Wilson Fisk says it's been some time, hasn't it? You've come up in the world. He knows who Matt Murdock is. So there needs to be like a conversation between these guys about how he's moving forward as mayor, because they hint in another show that he's going to be mayor. I'm sorry for that spoiler, but it's kind of all over the place. I'm not really that sorry. So if you're mad, we got a feedback box in our in our about section. We got a feedback box. Hit that button. Give us some positive reviews. I will not read the mean ones on the show. I haven't gotten any mean or nice ones yet. Maybe just one mean one will do, just to have one. I'm just kidding, but I'm really not. You leave me some feedback. Leave me some feedback. Okay. Daredevil looks good. Wilson Fisk looks not fat. He looks skinny. He looks like he lost a lot of weight, got really healthy, and they might be keeping him in character. Or maybe he has like a Hulk out version now where he just like blows up into his big self. He's looking good. It looks like his character decided to be a mayor and clean his act up a bit. And that's kind of what he's doing. He's playing a bigger game, a more tactical game than he's ever played in any of the Daredevil series thus far. Ooh, we get some hints of action. Daredevil's looking real good in that straight red suit. It even looks better than ever. I don't know what they do to make the costumes look so good in the MCU. It's less... I'm telling you this. The episodes of Daredevil, like in the first season, his suit is almost black. It's so... it's just such a tiny bit close to black. So they've brightened up the suit, but it still's got that like dark tone to it, but you can get a better look of it in the dark settings and stuff. And one guy's like the Daredevil, what kind of lawyer are you? And he's like, a good one. I like that joke. I think he said something similar in Spider-Man No Way Home. However, it's just good to have Charlie Cox back as Daredevil after all this time, looking as good as ever, might I add. Next up, we got a quick look at a new animated series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. When I say animated, like I see one of the first scenes, he's swinging, and it looks kind of 3D. Animation, the definition of it, what I used to think of it / what it is now, it's just a bigger thing. And it's done even a little bit better. So I got I feel kind of optimistic about this one. I don't know. It looks all right. The animation style doesn't look as as much detailed as What if you ask me. But I'll also say it looks like it's going for its own thing. I don't think it's the MCU Spider-Man prelude. I don't think so. I think it's a different Spider-Man from a different universe. I'll be honest, because they've done so many villains. How are they going to make a Spider-Man show starting off and not using some of these villains? So it might be a good avenue for them to explore the Spider-Man stories and see what the fans want out of the next live action Spider-Man movies over the course of the next 6 years. I'm going to definitely watch the show. Will I review the whole show? We'll see after the first episode. I might decide no, we're just going to talk about it when it's over. So I'm not going to waste my time talking something about I'm rolling my eyes about. I'm not going to make a 10-episode run of a show that I think is bad and then talking bad about it every week, because that's just killing the vibe completely for people who like it. And there are going to be people who like it. There are going to be people who love it. But if I don't deem it worthy, don't let that take away from your experience if you're enjoying it. Most likely, I'll probably like it. Next up, she wants to build something undeniable, as quoted in her trailer of Ironheart, Riri. She's stepping into the shoes of Iron Man, and she's not related to him in any way. This isn't Iron Man's daughter, but she might have some connections to Iron Man that maybe we'll learn about, or that I've forgotten about in Black Panther 2. She just seems like a young genius, and I didn't think this show was going to come out. I thought they canceled it, so I'm happy that they're sticking with it and probably taking a good time behind the scenes to make it a really fun show. Don't mess up the Iron Man show. Please don't mess up Iron Man. I know it's called Ironheart, but this is an extension of that. The trailer looks really cool. To Ironheart, I gotta say, she's stopping a giant truck. She's in a different suit than we've seen her before. I believe they made her a vibranium suit in Wakanda, but they didn't let her take it. The safety protocol, I guess you'll call it. Maybe she'll earn that suit in this show. All I'll say is I'm more excited for that show now than I was before. At What If Season 3, it was rumored to be the last season of Marvel's What If. My fingers and toes are crossed that they've heard the fans, and maybe they'll give it a chance for this season to bring the numbers in. Maybe they'll do another week-by-week viewing, because they put it all out day by day around Christmas time last year. Great for fans, but not great for newcomers. It's a lot for newcomers. One at a time. They're coming out with Marvel Zombies, Marvel Animation, it says up on top. So they're definitely dividing different studios up to take care of the animation, the movies, the shows. I hope the shows are in the same building next door to each other. We need the shows to be sewn into the movies, and I know the movies also need to be okay without the shows. However, you made your fan base, Marvel, connecting things and writing this connects to this, that connects to this. A lot of your hardcore fans from the heart back to the beginning, they like the connection. The best part of Marvel, the MCU, is the connections and pathways to each project, from one to another, coming together for an assemble Avengers movie that could be something like Thunderbolts even. We needed one of those in Phase 4. I think Phase 4 would have been way better. Secret Invasion was a movie. The Avengers. And it could have been the new Avengers. It could have been anything. We met a lot of entities in Phase 4, but that's not the way they went. And I'm fanning this one now. But Marvel Zombies, I see this is a type of thing I would have said before, man, aren't they wasting their time and effort on this when they really could do something else? And you know what? I'm never saying that again until I watch it. I liked the Zombies episode. It was really bleak for Marvel in Marvel's What If Season 1. But I'm going to say this. I got optimism about this. There's a big fan base. It's got a core fan base, Marvel Zombies. And it looks really cool. I'm not going to lie. I haven't been watching any other zombie content. I gave up on The Walking Dead a few years ago, although I heard maybe it's okay to go back and, finish everything because somehow Rick Grimes died, but now he's back and making a movie. I don't know. We're not talking about The Walking Dead. We're talking about Marvel Zombies. I'll give it a shot too. It looks to be really interesting, and I have no idea who the main character in Marvel Zombies will be, but I'm interested. I'm interested enough to try it out and cover an episode with it. And then the final trailer, I believe, is for Wonder Man, a brand new hero. He's an actor, and he's reading for the part of Wonder Man we learned at the beginning of the audition. I never heard of Wonder Man. This is like new news to me. So I'm wondering if they really know they got something fun on their hands. They're going to have an actor become a superhero. I like that. I swear I like mentally came up with that 2 years ago. I don't know. I think it's a great premise, and I'm very interested. I don't know when it's coming out exactly. It's just kind of like a quick look at it in this trailer. All I'll say is we get the great Trevor from Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi. Is his name Trevor? I forget his name. The same guy who was the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. He seems to play like the secondhand character in this show. He's so funny. I really, 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 really liked him. I think his little pet's name was Trevor. I wonder if he'll show up. To me, it looks like he's a big part of the show, Wonder Man. Another Marvel animated show, Eyes of Wakanda, a Black Panther show. Is that going to take place in our universe, 616, or all the? I don't think so. And all the animated comic, just like style shows, are in their own universe. So much to process. Multiverse is still sinking in for a lot of us. My voice is raspy as all heck, most likely because of my excitement. Among action shots from Daredevil and really cool shots from all the shows, Wilson Fisk says we got a lot to do. I can't wait to see Daredevil. I'm so excited for that. It's a very hyped trailer. I went through all the projects, and I want you to let me know what you think about any of these projects. Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Do you feel like we're not getting a good enough direction? I think we're going in a good direction. I think we'll see for how good the shows are. I think they're trying out the shows so they can make more content that people love. And to make more money, obviously. For us, though, it needs to be a pretty dang good show, and they know that, so the standards are high. How do I feel about the future of Marvel right now at this moment? I'm excited, I'm optimistic, and I'm ready for some of the best storytelling Marvel has ever given us. When it's leading up to Doomsday and Secret Wars and everything in between, I feel like we're going to really appreciate this whole saga when it's over. And I mean, there will be the occasional flop or two. That's what you get when you put out so many movies. But I would like to say that I believe that they're putting quality back in, and thought and love and care. And I think that was always there for even the shows that people rip on. I don't know why people rip on She-Hulk. I love that show, and I support that show. The only one I've outwardly talked against was Secret Invasion, and I don't think anyone was super happy with that. I think it could have been done better. Samuel L. Jackson could have been utilized better. So many things that could have done better. Just that's the only show that I feel that way about. But I don't want to talk crap about it because I really like the actors in it and the people who made it. They didn't make the best show in the world, but they tried. We got a lot to look forward to in 2025, and including the movies. We got Captain America: Brave New World. We got the Thunderbolts. And most importantly, Fantastic Four. I forget what the title is. They just changed it like yesterday. Fantastic Four is coming out. All those movies are coming out next year. And Fantastic Four is confirmed to set up the Doctor Doom story. So we have a lot of really great movies in store for us. That's why I said before, maybe an earlier episode, I'm getting Phase 3 vibes. Phase 3 starts with Captain America, Civil War, and we get 3 new heroes. And in movies and sets of movies, we get Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther. 3 giant heroes added, and they all work. And when they assemble in Infinity War, I got the same feeling I got in Avengers 1. I believe that magic isn't gone. I believe that all the pieces to the puzzle are still laid out there on the floor. I think they can even make bad things that are assumed bad into good things by further explaining and talking about them in later movies or shows, like how they kind of brought Thor Dark World a little bit higher on the status of, I gotta watch this and maybe not be so critical about it because Thor is really cool and Chris Hemsworth is awesome and he's been our Thor for all this time. I could watch this movie. You know what? It's got Loki in it. I love this movie. That's kind of what it is for me. But we're all maniacs to our own degree, and anything can happen, and every show could suck. And I don't think it'll end this podcast, but it will definitely kill some momentum for us. Do you really see that happening? I personally don't. However, I'd love to hear your feedback. Head into our About section in your episode notes and just let us know what you're thinking about the future of the MCU. I'm sorry for pushing that so often. I want to hear your thoughts and I want to read them on the show. If you don't want it on the show, you could send us something. Just say, I don't want it on the show. Aside from that, I think we've talked about a lot. This episode's gone a little bit longer than I expected, and that probably says a lot to all the things coming out. And we will be covering most, if not all. I'm not going to make any big promises because I gotta trust myself 100%. Like I said, for a few of these shows, maybe I'll just try out the first episode and we'll see how it goes from there. We got our feedback and we got a tip jar in the comments. Never ever necessary, always appreciated. And I just want to say thank you for being here, spending time with me today. Do you like the day and times these episodes are released? Do you have feedback on if you want them at different times, different days? I haven't heard anything like that. I'm kind of happy with the mix-up I have. Wednesdays at 11 p.m. and Fridays at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. That's where I'm at right now. Always subject to change, but I love doing 2 episodes a week. It feels like I'm more involved in the universe, and it's fun looking across the MCU timeline and just analyzing further. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time. Until then, Avengers, disassemble.